KeraLink's started in 1962 as the Maryland Eye Bank, and it grew into Tissue Bank International, which was a whole network of eye banks throughout the United States. And they had a big international program where they set up many eye banks throughout the world. And then in 2018, they decided that there was no longer a need to be in the corneal tissue business for the United States, since the US was already a well-served market. And so they sold their network of eye banks and decided to devote their time and expertise and resources to addressing corneal disease and blindness in the lower and middle income countries.
After the sale in 2019 of the eye banks, KeraLink International reestablished itself as a nonprofit. KeraLink International serves the low to middle income countries, and really within that country, there's a lot of people under the age of 50 that have corneal blindness. And so that's really the population that we're focused on.
The mission of the organization is very, very basic to anybody alive, which is the ability to have your sight.
Most corneal blindness is caused by corneal infection called keratitis. It can be bacterial, fungal, or viral. And so the challenge is to detect early and treat early, removing time from the equation so that people get treatment as soon as possible so that the infection doesn't progress.
It has been estimated that approximately 12,500,000 people around the world are in need of a cornea transplant. The waiting list in Bangladesh is estimated to exceed 500,000 people.
Our strategy is a PEN strategy, P-E-N, prevention, early detection, and novel treatments.
P stands for prevention, and that is our safety eyewear program to prevent injuries that lead to infections and corneal blindness.
Early detection, we're developing technologies now to be able to detect early so we can actually solve their issues before it gets too bad and they become blind.
And then novel treatment, N, which is artificial cornea and other technologies that we're looking at.
Pantheon Vision has been very graced by the investment that KeraLink International has made in providing us seed funding to get our project started and going. And so we're blessed by having KeraLink board members on our board and giving us guidance and assistance in moving our project forward.
Pantheon Vision is focusing on artificial corneal tissue to replace the need for human tissue, given that eye banking has been a failure in most of the developing world.
We have 13 million people in the world that are awaiting treatment today. KeraLink has a broad mission to cure corneal blindness on a global basis. We are the tip of the spear to address a large segment of that, to have a therapy that will address people that already suffer from corneal blindness. In doing that, and the generous funding we receive from KeraLink and their support drives towards that goal. We share that mission. We share that dedication and the compelling work that we get to do to help cure people's corneal blindness.
You asked me how it feels to see people helped by KeraLink. Let me tell you a story that comes to mind. I was in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and we had, if I'm recalling, 9 corneas that we brought with us. We were going to do 9 surgeries. So we picked the 9, and one of them was a woman who was about 22 or 23 years old, being led in by her older sister. And this woman had some type of trauma when she was a toddler. She doesn't remember seeing. She had her surgery, and the next day I was there when they took her bandage off. And when the bandage came off, she looked down at her hand and held it in front of her face like I'm doing now. And I said to the Indian surgeon, I said, "Oh, is she counting fingers?" which you do in ophthalmology all the time. And the surgeon said, "No, Doug, you don't understand. She's never seen her hand before. She's never seen anyone's hand before." So when I think about what we do, what if we could do that so much that we never had to do it again?
Corneal blindness, corneal disease doesn't get much attention because it's a disease of poor people. And the poor people aren't seen And most eye care organizations, including the World Health Organization, it hasn't come onto their radar yet. KeraLink's going to change all that.
KeraLink is uniquely positioned to solve this challenge of corneal blindness in emerging markets. One, based on its rich history of being a technology and care delivery provider in the eye banking space. Two, it's a clinical thought leader with the best ophthalmologists around and researchers around. And it has a fantastic team of technologists who have delivered
specifically in the space
of ophthalmology. And they're all working together to solve this particular challenge today in the emerging markets around corneal blindness.
The socioeconomic impacts are huge of blindness when it comes to LMICs. And it's something that can be helped, can be fixed. We just need the willpower to do it.
Someone can support KeraLink by going to our website, www.keralink.org, and donating. And we take those donations and we strategically put those in place to help save lives. When someone goes blind in one eye or both eyes, it affects the entire family. And a lot of times that person will die early because if there's a family involved, they'll decide not to eat food, and then slowly it impacts them because they don't feel like that they're worthy. They feel like the people in their family who have eyes, who are out working, deserve the food more. And so they go into depression. That's why our work is important here.
Support for KeraLink goes directly to transformative technologies to introduce into the developing world so that we can really turn the tide against corneal blindness.
If we don't do it, who is? So it might as well be us.